Hello, everybody. Artistry and Finesse with you. Happy Jarome Iginla Day. What an incredible development, Finesse. Everyone's just speechless right now.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. I was sleeping, planning on getting up around 7:15. 6:30, in walks my brother to wake me up, shakes me on the knee, says the Pens got Iginla. I immediately jump out of bed. I run to the computer, don't even know if I had pants on at the time, and just start typing. Like I was that excited.
Yeah, everybody's got a story. I woke up in the middle of the night to take some NyQuil because I got my kids cold, and so was totally zonked out. And I awoke this morning at like 8:30, and the first thing I saw was your text, which I think said, "What a coup." And I instantly knew, in every fiber of my being, what had happened.
It's so surprising because I don't think anybody was saying like that the Pens need to get Iginla. This was like not really a need move. It was much more of a luxury move where we didn't have to give up much to get it.
Do you think that if not the primary benefit, then a big benefit of this really is just keeping him away from Boston, which
Huge.
would have been scary with him?
Absolutely huge benefit because the Bruins are close, very close to the Penguins. I mean, we've always said I like the matchup of the Penguins against the Bruins. I think we match up pretty well with them compared to other teams.
Right.
But just keeping like a big asset away from them, and now maybe they have to overpay for a different asset or something. It's huge. It's huge. And the other underrated thing about this, about getting Morrow and Iginla, is not just the depth that the Pens have when everybody's healthy, but the depth that it has to like withstand an injury. You know, like Crosby or Malkin tweaks something and they have to be out for a couple playoff games. You actually have guys who are used to big moments, big minutes. You're not putting Dustin Jeffrey and Bo Bennett playing them 20 minutes a night in a playoff game.
That's right. And we can talk about lines in a second, but I think it's important just to take a step back right now. I know that the expectations are rightly just to the moon, but the Bruins are going to make a big move. They could get a Marty St. Louis, and I'm telling you, that team is still right there with the Penguins.
As is, they are, for sure.
Yeah, and the Chicago Blackhawks are a fantastic team with the benefit of having played together the entire season. I'm not even sure they need to add a piece to be right there with the Penguins. Nothing is preordained, and as I just tweeted a few minutes ago, if I'm Dan Bilesma, I set the team down. I got a lot of veterans on this team. They know this, but it can't hurt to talk to them about the 92-93 Pittsburgh Penguins, which, you know, for those who didn't experience this, if you were too young or whatever, that team had, if it's possible, higher expectations than this team. And they lost to the New York Islanders, whose best forward, because Pierre Turgeon was out, was Ray Ferraro. So that should be the only cautionary tale you need to hear. I mean, if that doesn't resonate, I don't know what does.
Well, why are you saying that Bilesma should sit down with the team? Why don't you sit down with the team? Who better than you?
I could tell them about it.
Who better than you?
Yeah. I mean, I would tell it, and I would tell it with a lot of passion.
Right. You got, say, you know, hey, boys, bring it in, boys. And then you skate out there to center ice, and you tell them the story of the 92-93 Penguins. Say, you know, I was in college at the time. I was in really the prime of my fandom. I knew every player on every team. I was growing a mullet. I wanted to look like Phil Bourque. All these things. And you tell them how much it hurt.
I could channel a little Mario Lemieux. I could say, okay, boys, bring it in, boys. Take a knee, boys.
All right, boys. Good job, boys.
Obviously, this team is loaded. But we were in 92-93, boys.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, it didn't end well, boys.
Still have to play the puck.
That's right. I think they need to hear that.
But you mentioned Boston and Chicago, but that's like getting even ahead of ourselves. Like they're still a first-round opponent, and
that's right. That's the point.
All you need to do is like you run into like the Rangers and Lundqvist gets ridiculously hot or something, or it could be anybody. It could be the Caps get hot at the right time or something. Like anything can happen. So
in '93, it was Glenn Healy that got hot. Glenn Healy.
Right.
It could be anyone.
You don't even have to be a good goalie to get hot. And you know, the one Achilles heel of the Pens last year in the playoffs was Fleury wasn't good. So
exactly.
It's not even a given that he's going to be as good as he has been the past like 10 games or so.
Right.
So
injury is always a possibility. We're seeing that now. So nothing to be taken for granted here. It's very exciting, but
all you can do is try to maximize your chances that stuff's not going to happen. And that's what Shiro's done, in my opinion. He just makes it more likely that the Pens will win the Cup than if we hadn't made these moves. Doesn't mean we're going to. Doesn't mean that it's over 50% or anything. It could be 20%, but it's better than 10%.
Absolutely agree. What's really remarkable is just looking in totality at what we've given up to get these veterans, because it's not much. And maybe we can talk a little bit about what some of the possible configurations for this lineup are. But I think it's wrong-headed to think anybody needs to make that decision now. I mean, we have a few weeks to figure that out, right?
Right, and we have, given that this trade was made now instead of 5 days from now, the deadline, or 6 days from now, is you have an extra 6 days to figure it out. Because you're not getting 22 regular season games from these guys like a regular trade deadline. You're getting like 11 or 12. So it's an extra 10 games not to get acquainted with each other. So it is sort of an accelerated schedule, but I like that Shiro made moves before the deadline to actually give some more time to mesh.
Can we just talk about what an absolute wizard he is? I mean, for those who watch the press conference, you know what we're talking about. I mean, the guy, he is absolutely perfect in his disposition after doing something like this, when the entire fan base has a collective smirk on its face.
Oh, we're smugging. We're smugging big time right now.
Shiro is just, he's measured. He's saying, look, this is just what I do. You know, he's very matter-of-fact about it. It really sets the tone for the whole organization.
Right. He deflects the credit to other people. And the credit does belong to other people, because Ray Shiro could be the general manager, like he said, of the Oakland Seals, or make it Columbus or Florida or something, and he's not making these trades. So, and a lot of what built the foundation of the team was here before he got here. So,
yeah. What a disposition, though.
Yeah, it's one of the better dispositions I've seen in a while. One of the things I liked best about him, though, before we get to the lines, is that he has no hesitancy in cutting the cord on his own moves that haven't worked out. No sentimentality towards players he's signed or players he's drafted. It's like, look, Zbigniew McCulloch wasn't working out. He thought he could use the $4 million in cap room for something else, so he dumps him for a fourth-round pick. Like, rather than compounding the error of Kovalev or Ponikarovsky or Leopold or whatever, it's just like, all right, it didn't work out. We're not re-signing these guys. Or like these players he's drafted, it's, he might really like Ben Hanowski or thought he found a steal in the 5th round or 3rd round whenever he was drafted.
Right.
But he's not performing at that level, so you get rid of him. And I give him a lot of credit for that, because a lot of general managers have an ego that says, I drafted this guy, I'm smarter. If I just hold out a little bit longer, everybody will see how smart I am.
That's right. The man lives in the present time. He's like Buddha. He's like, the universe flows through me. I'm not going to obstruct it.
That's something that I don't know that I can get my head around during a lunch break podcast.
Just think about that.
Recorded via cell phone.
Let's talk about the lines. One thing that nobody has really discussed today, our wish is coming true. Separate and apart from adding Jarome Iginla, the byproduct of this is that Tyler Kennedy is going to be on the 4th line.
Right. Which we don't say to knock Tyler Kennedy. We say it as a compliment.
That means you can roll 4 good lines.
Right. A 4th line with Tyler Kennedy can score, because he's a pretty good player, as shown in the last week or so. He's been good.
And really what this trade does more than anything, regardless of who you fit where, is it makes the Penguins as overwhelming, arguably, to play against as they were with Jordan Staal at any time, because every line that comes over the boards is going to wear you down. I mean, the forechecking capability of this team is just off the charts right now.
Right. A Cook, Sutter, Morrow 3rd line is fantastic. It's great.
It's going to be a nightmare.
Right. And there's still one sort of weak spot, which would be the last forward in. I mean, it could be Vitale, it could be Tanner Glass, Jeffrey Bennett, one of those guys.
Well, that raises the question of whether Shiro's done yet.
I don't know. I think he would actually, if there's another trade, be much more likely to give up an actual player, finally give up a roster player rather than more draft picks. I don't know that he wants to give up another 2nd or 3rd round pick. Like I could see him cutting the cord on Dustin Jeffrey or something and trading him.
Absolutely. I could see that too. If it's a Steve Ott type character, as we've advocated just yesterday on the blog, I could see him giving up a Dustin Jeffrey and a mid-round pick, something like that.
Right.
For sure.
What I like, the other... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to ask if is that what we're looking for? Somebody along those lines?
I think you just need what you want is a penalty killer, like a really good penalty killer. And I talked about it today with you. I mean, it's not realistic, but like the ideal type of player would be a Max Talbot. Like that would be a good guy to bring in, someone like that.
Yeah, although there seems to be a lot of teams vying for his services right now.
Indeed.
And what are you thinking preliminarily about where Iginla fits?
Well, I think the best thing is that like the expectations for Iginla and Morrow are lower coming to the Penguins than they were on their teams that they were just on. Like their roles are reduced coming to the Penguins. They're not like Iginla's not coming here to be, the best player on the team. He's coming here to like finish a few passes from Crosby. Same with Morrow. So I think they fit anywhere. I would say that the one thing you don't break up is Crosby and Kunitz. I know the Kunitz was great with Malkin last year, but the difference is that Kunitz brings out the best in Crosby. Ever since we traded for Kunitz, Crosby's like sort of been at a different level. In 2010, he had like 50. He won the Rocket Richard.
51 goals, sure.
2010-11, he was going to score 140 points.
Right.
The concussion stuff last year is a wash, and then this year he's been crazily good. So I think you keep Crosby and Kunitz because Kunitz is going to be good no matter who he plays with. But I think he's gotten the most out of Sid.
Yeah.
So then you have Malkin and Neal together, and then I would give Iginla a shot with Crosby, even though Dupuis's been so good.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would, but my preference, without having seen anything happen yet, is that you put Morrow on the third line and Dupuis with Neal and Malkin, because I think Dupuis can serve the same role for them that Kunitz did last year, which is to be the first guy in the zone, the guy that makes the first hit, the guy that turns the other team over, and picks some pockets on the back check and gets the transition going the other way.
Yeah, I'll buy that. I agree with you that ideally Morrow ends up on the third line where he can give maximum effort for 15 minutes a night.
Now, what about the power play? Because Iginla is like the right-handed sniper we've wanted for a long time and have really never had. So, but how do you get him on the top unit? Or do you finally split?
I haven't even gotten to the power play in my mind. But the obvious question is if you do what we've been advocating really for years, and that's split up Malkin and Crosby, now you have really every reason to do that. Although I haven't worked out in my mind how everything would be configured.
It's still such a difficult thing to do. One of the considerations that I've been playing with in my head is that maybe every time you get a power play, you just pull the goalie. And you put out 5 forwards in Letang.
Yeah, that's one option.
Because I don't see how I don't really want to see Kunitz or Neal off the power play. Neal's like one of the best power play specialists in the league.
Absolutely.
And he gives you the left-handed shot, and Iginla gives you the right-handed shot.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made. However, the first two lines shake out, just have those be your two power play units.
Right.
In terms of the forwards, and then you put Letang out there, and either Malkin or Crosby.
We've always said that the two power play units is the way to go. The problem with that is like actually pulling the trigger on sending a power play unit out there and leaving Evgeny Malkin on the bench.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Is one option is you have the top two lines be essentially your two power play units, except if it's Sid's line that's out there, you put Gino out there as well with Letang, and vice versa. If it's Gino's line out there, you put Letang out there with Sid.
Right. Or Paul Martin instead of Letang. Because I don't think Chris Letang has a power play goal this season. Despite his over point per game average and his generally excellent play, he still doesn't have a power play goal.
There's a lot to digest today. I think we're both sitting at our desks at work. We just both felt the internet is exploding. We are bubbling over with emotion. We needed to get this stuff. We needed to get this stuff out. Hey.
Wait, I'm going to try something. I think I can play a sound effect. Hold on.